All right, guys, so I started there because I knew you were going to ask, hey, you know, which one of these sounds the loudest and the best? And the short answer is the Axon 7 is still, to me, like the king of quality sound on the device. Only one other phone, I think, was the Galaxy S9 Plus that actually gave it the edge over it. But this comparison here is with the Axon 7 and the Axon 10 Pro. ZTE did a great job on the Axon 10 Pro, but having these speakers right here on the Axon 7 face you and have that clear, I don't know what they did on this device, but they need to do it again. Because this phone, even though this phone is 3 years old, to me it is still one of the best sounding phones when it comes to speaker quality on the market. It is just the best. So welcome to another video, guys. It's your man Jay. This is the Axon 7 and the Axon 10 Pro. We're going to see how far ZTE has come in the last 3 years from launching a flagship device or a powerhouse device in the US market. Now, there are other versions of the Axon. There's an Axon 9, I believe. And there's other previous models of the Axon, but they didn't release in the US. This is an official US device, and this is ZTE's return to the US with a bang. So we're going to start, like we always do, with the Challenger. For build quality, here is the Axon 10 and all its beautiful, shiny, just, yeah. Yes, let's get a rag, let's clean it up. Here is beauty. This is one of the most beautiful devices I have ever used. It's just great. It's a beautiful looking phone. You've got the 3-camera setup on the back here, and you've got a volume rocker and power here. If you didn't notice, there's like a little orange dot on the power button there, which is pretty cool. Then you got your noise cancel microphone up top. You got Type-C and microphone and speaker down bottom, and nothing on this side. And you have an in-screen fingerprint reader here, and it also has facial recognition. It's really fast. And you have a 6.47-inch display, basically a 6.5-inch display. Edge to edge, corner to corner, bezel-less with the little cutout at the top there for the front camera, which is 20, I believe. I think this is a 20. Let me go back and check my spec sheet here. Yeah, this is a 20 megapixel on the front. On the rear, you have a 48 megapixel main shooter, which is a wide lens, and then you have an 8 megapixel telephoto lens, and then you have a 20 megapixel ultra wide lens, and you've got the dual tone LED flash with HDR and panorama and things like that. Shoots in 4K. This is a beautiful setup. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous design. Hardware, you know, you've got, I'll go to the internals now. You've got 8 gigs of storage in this model. You've got, there's a 12 gig model, 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. There's a 12 gig model as well. It's fantastic. 4,000 milliamp hour battery inside, IP68, wireless charging. In another video versus the OnePlus, I didn't call out the wireless charging, but it does have wireless charging. And you're there, Bluetooth 5.0. So, old school. Where are you Axon old school users at? This is a phone that definitely stood the test of time and is still going, actually. And this is a 1080p AMOLED display, if I didn't say that already. My apologies. So speaking of the display, this is a Quad HD AMOLED display coming in at 5.5 inches, which was big back in the day. This was a huge deal. You've obviously got those stereo speakers on here that face you, and you got stereo speakers here with a bottom firing and a top grill on there. You got the camera cut out in the middle of the chamber here for the speakers, and you got a speaker here. You've got power button and volume rocker, and then you've got a single camera on the back, which does its thing, coming in at 20 megapixels. And on the front, you have an 8 megapixel. It does shoot 4K. You've got this beautiful design on here. You've got a fingerprint reader back there as well. You've got a headphone jack up here and no headphone jack on that phone over there. You got microphones for canceling noise, and that's pretty much it, folks. Hardware and design. Okay, so this is a tough one. I like the comfort and feel in hand of the new Axon 10 Pro. I like it. I like the screen over here. I like, you know, the size of the screen and things like that. Because you look at these in size, it's not that much bigger. But the feel in hand is fantastic on the Axon 10 Pro. But I would have taken this design again, stretched out a little bit. That's just me. Call me crazy, but I would have taken this design again in their new device if they brought those speakers back. See, some people are frowning on the speakers and following the current market for putting the stereo setup like this. This is actually the best way to do stereo speakers. This is just the best way. So design and everything goes to the newer version, the Axon 10, because this is actually beautiful. But hardware wise, you know, durability and things is definitely going to be better over here. The screen is obviously beautiful over here because it's a newer design of a screen, current day, where this is 3-year-old technology over here on the screen display, and this is current day. So you can see the difference in the displays. I could have put the same wallpaper, but you get the gist of it. This is a beautiful, beautiful display on both. And take note of that. When I played the beginning of the video, you should have been looking at the quality of the screen as well, and that lets you know. So while I like the feel and hand of this one, and this one looks better, I would have taken this design over any current phone with this flanking speakers and stretched this display out, because technically this could be a bigger display in here somewhere with these speakers, but that's just me. So I'm going to jump over to battery life. Battery life on both of these is good. Obviously, this is a 3-year-old phone, but when I do use this, I can make it through a day. But I'm not pushing like 8 hours screen on time. I'm getting more between 5 and 6. Over here, obviously, this phone right here has a bigger battery because this phone, the Axon 7 only has a 3250, and the Axon 10 Pro has a 4000. So I'm getting between 7 and 8 over here on the Axon 10, and between 5 and 6 regularly on the Axon 7. So obviously battery goes to the Axon 10. Now, as far as performance goes, this is running a skin that I use, Pix Launcher, and this is just running stock Android. So with the processors inside, honestly, folks, I'm not going to get on this video and tell you that I see a significant difference. This has the Snapdragon 820. And this has the 855. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out everything. I'm going to open some apps. Not that this means much to me, but I know you might want to see this so you can see the difference here in performance. Okay, there you go. You see the Axon 7 is about 2 seconds, 3 seconds behind in opening that app. And you can see it's behind here, but not much. So we don't want to add anything. So, you know, performance wise, I don't see this jump in performance in day-to-day use, and you probably won't. However, this is a Snapdragon 835, and where I might see the difference is helping with battery, helping with day-to-day tasks, being able to do more, because this only has 4 gigs of RAM and this has 8 gigs of RAM. The 10 has 8, the 7 has 4. So you're going to see differences there over the day, the course of the day. You might see the Axon really look slow next to the Axon 10. And that's where you're at. Software wise, this is actually running their old software that me favor, but I skinned it, like I said, because I just prefer this setup and this look and the app tray and everything. But you know, even with the me favor on there, it's still fine. So I'm just going to take a couple of shots here with the cameras. Like I always do. And you'll notice huge improvements, obviously, over the cameras here. I'm going to kill this light for a second. It's still a very fast shutter on the Axon 7. So, and I'm not going to do this huge camera test and everything, but you can see the difference in the quality here. Get that light going. You can see the difference in the quality. It's the Axon 7 still is a great camera, but there's obviously more detail in the Axon 10 Pro because it's an updated lens, an updated camera, everything is updated. So the Axon 10 definitely has the better cameras. I'm not going deep into this because it's clear. Obviously, you know, there are some phones out there that are older that have good cameras, but the Axon 10 or Axon 7 was a phone that started off with camera issues. So if you don't remember 3 years ago, the debacle with the camera and people complained they did a whole bunch of software updates. Yeah, but even at this point, the camera on the Axon 7 is usable. It's totally usable. So video footage and everything on here, the Axon 10 wins. It's clear, you know, again, this is a 3-year-old device, and this is just to show you how far they've come in this 3 years for releasing a product in the US. So this isn't a tough one. I mean, the Axon 7 was good in its prime, and it killed a lot of phones. And even today, it's still better than a lot of phones. But I don't believe it's better than the Axon 10 in several ways. I mean, the battery's better. You've got the newer design. You've got the better cameras. The performance is a little bit better. Call quality on these are pretty matched. I mean, they're equally matched, I would say. They're both good on T-Mobile and AT&T. So, you know, that's not an issue. But where the Axon 7 blows it out the water, I think, it's just the speakers, man. The speakers in media consumption on this device, plus it still has the headphone jack. Even though this has the DAC as well, this has the 24-bit audio, and the Axon 7 has the 32-bit audio, and it's good on the Axon 10 with the adapter and everything, but it's better on the Axon 7 because it is just, they just did this so right. They did it so good. It's hard for them to top themselves, you know, and that's where it's at, man. But, you know, both of these are nice. You know, if I could just put this body over here, you know, I would be super happy. Give me these speakers, you know what I'm saying? Give me these cameras on this phone. Hey, but obviously the Axon 10 is the better choice. This costs $549 for 8 gig, 256 gig model, and 12 gigs. It only costs $599. This, on the other hand, is a phone that you can't get anymore. Technically brand new. There are sellers out there that will sell it. I still recommend this phone over several current devices that are in 2019, folks. That's how much this phone competes. So I would say, you know, the Axon 10 is the clear winner here, but this is no slouch. The Axon 7 is no slouch. ZTE has made some pretty decent improvements, and I hope that they continue their success in updating the Axons, and I hope that they just don't bring the Axon 10 Pro and leave. You know, but I know that if they don't sell a lot of these, it's going to be like any other device. You have to let it go. You got to move on to something else. However, you can still capitalize and do better and not just throw in the towel. You can actually make an Axon 11 and grow on the experiences that you have from the Axon 10 Pro. This is my thoughts on it. Which one of these guys, well, this isn't about which one you like. This is about to show you, you know, hey, this is what they've done, and this is where they're at. So real mild comparison. I know you guys are really only concerned about the speakers, but here we are. It's your man Jay. See you in the next one. Take care.